right, so everyone, it's very nice to meet everyone for the first or 10th time, depending on how many webinars you've joined with us. My name is Mark. I'm our EVP of Sales and Partnerships here at Glew. And today we're going to be talking about bringing it all together, 4 tried and true funnels to drive sales, retain customers, and of course, the whole point is increasing profits. We're going to give a quick pause for a moment, just for 30 to 60 seconds to let those people jumping out of another meeting to join, and we'll go ahead and get started in just a few. Literally just a few minutes. I see people from Connecticut, San Diego, our hometown of Charlotte. I see some of my own personal clients here. Thank you very much for joining us. We're really pumped to be here. Also, while we're killing a little time, if you enjoyed what you saw today, please go ahead and write into our website to get a demonstration from either me personally or one of our sales executives, and also to launch a free trial, look at our Glew Academy video series. I think this might be our 10th webinar, maybe close to that. So there's a lot of content on the website too, if you've enjoyed, if you enjoyed what we're talking about today. All right, so again, real quick, my name is Mark. I'm our Executive Vice President of Sales and Partnerships here at Glew. And what we're going to be doing today is talking about, quote unquote, bringing it all together. Some very specific funnels, which are not only out of the box, but also ones that you can customize in order to increase your profit starting immediately. Now, real quick, I'll be moving pretty fast. Please go ahead and jot down your questions into the chat box on the right-hand side of the screen. I'll try to answer them in real time, but most likely I'll be answering them at the end. And those Q&As are pretty cool. We'll answer almost all of them and on this call. If not, we'll email you after. All right, let's get started. Doing a quick test. Can you see my screen? We're good? All right. Okay, we're good. All right. So real quick, guys, again, bringing it all together, 4 funnels to drive sales, retain customers, and increase profits. Now, before we get into the data science itself, we have to quickly go back into the system and just show you what we're talking about. So when you spin up your Glew account, I'm gonna jump into it, and I go into customers, customer list, what you'll find are many predefined segments that are out of the box in Glew. You'll see I'm in my demo account right now, and there's a lot of custom segments built, but you'll notice like big spenders, big ticket spenders, first purchase customers, all of the segments that don't have the word custom next to it are what we call predefined or out of the box. If I zoom out to customer segments, you'll also see all the predefined segments right here, right in front of you. And when we get into funnel 4, you'll notice when I click on all customers, create a segment, that you can actually create infinite amounts of segments using all the dimensions integrated into Glew in order to get really, really crazy with it, which will, of course, we'll have a crazy segment party at the end of this when it comes to getting creative. You'll also notice that when you create a segment, you can actually push the segment and sync it with your email system. Now, that's important, right? Because it's one thing to have great data science. It's another entirely different thing to automate the way that we are enacting upon the insights that we're finding. So really important to know these 2 features before we go ahead and get started here. All right. So here are the 4 funnels that we're going to talk about today. These are my 4 favorites that if you're my client, you've definitely been walked through personally by me. Funnel 1, we'll call it the timing optimization funnel. What this is contingent on is the amount of days since your customer last purchased something from you. The second funnel is what I call the purchase behavior. We're operating off of the purchase history off of the store as well as said individual. Funnel 3 is what I call the strategic funnel, or sometimes I call it the satellite funnel, where it's actually not a part of any specific cadence, but maybe once or twice a quarter, we ping very specific segments of the base in order to recruit new leads or unload unwanted inventory strategically. And then funnel 4 is where we leave it open-ended with some custom segments where we really, after we've mastered funnels 1 through 3, we can then actually design custom segments better than any other system out there in order to get really nitty-gritty and granular on implementing strategies that were at once not possible. You'll also notice an ROI measurement, okay? So if you're wondering, okay, Mark, where do I begin? Do I begin at funnel 3 or funnel 1? Well, please begin at funnel 1 and march your way down to funnel 4. That will give you the biggest bang for your buck and for your time. Awesome. So the first funnel that we're going to talk about is what I call the timing optimization funnel. Timing in e-commerce is so important and a big thorn in many sides, right? If I am too late to sell to my customer, well, chances are my customer will forget about me, or even worse, a competitor will swoop in to steal what would have been my business. If we're too early and we're too eager, for example, I brought in a shoe company the other day before they used our system, and like the minute I bought the pair of shoes, I kid you not, 3 minutes later, I got an email asking me to buy another pair of shoes. I mean, I unsubscribed from that email pretty quickly because I don't want to get spammed. So it's really important that we get this right. So what you'll find is there are 3 time-based segments out of the box in Glew. There's active, at risk, and lost. And you'll notice, right, if I come back into customer segments, there's my active segment, there's my at-risk segment, right? And then there's my lost segment. Where are you? There's my lost segment. We'll just take my word for it. It's in here. Here it is. It's in here somewhere. And these, I'm sorry?
Just way down the bottom.
Yeah. And these sync over to your ESP. Now, if I come back over here, what you'll notice is this timing is going to be different for every merchant, right? If I'm selling phone cases, well, then my timing is going to be completely different than if I'm selling clothes. So what we first do is we calculate what is called your lapse point. So your lapse point has 2 definitions. The first definition is that it's the amount of days that you have to upsell your customer for, based on your data, that customer most likely isn't coming back. And the way that we get to that lapse point is by averaging out the distance between every repeat purchase that your store has ever had. Let me repeat that. Customer's future value, we're going to show you all the repeat purchases you've ever had as a business, and the distance between these repeat purchases goes through a secret algorithm to provide you your lapse point, or again, the amount of days that you have to upsell your customer. After we identify what that lapse point is, we then place a customer into an active, at risk, or lost status. These are mutually exclusive statuses, right? If I am John Doe, I cannot be an active and at-risk customer at the same time. I have to be one at a time. And you'll see that these statuses live throughout Glew. Check it out. Here's Swag Smith. He is active. And if I click into Swag Smith's email address, I'll get one source of truth on Swag and exactly where he lives in this cadence and how to treat them. And that's what we're going to actually talk about right now. If I am an active customer, I am less than 80% of the way through lapse point. I just bought from you. Okay? So if my lapse point's 100 days, I would be an active customer if I bought 80 or less days ago. An at-risk customer is over 80% of the way through lapse point. So if my lapse point's 100 days, I bought between 80 and 100 days ago, and then my lost customer is past lapse point. Okay, they've bought over 100 days ago, or whatever your lapse point is. Now, I think this graphic is the best way to think of your lapse point, okay? So on the left-hand area here, we have the probability the customer will buy again. On the x-axis, we have time. The yellow bar here is your lapse point. That varies per merchant. If I'm a phone case company, it's probably like 200 days. If I'm a makeup company, it's probably like 45 days. And then you'll see my active are less way through this lapse point. My at-risk customers are over 80%, and then lost, they've passed that lapse point. Now, if I'm an active customer, please do not ask me to buy again. I just bought from you, right? If I'm buying shoes, well, guess what? I just spent $150 of my monthly shoe budget buying something from you. So to turn back to me and ask me to buy something again 3 minutes later would just piss me off because A, I just spent money with you, and B, you're just like every other e-commerce client. Just you're looking for the next dollar and you're not invested in me at all as your customer. So the idea here is to build trust with the customer. Help them pull value out of your product or service and accelerate the probability the customer will buy again through what I call adding value, education, building excitement. For example, I always use the example of a laundry detergent company we work with. When they sell you laundry detergent, they're not turning back around and asking you to buy more laundry detergent. They tell you what permanent press means, how to organize your clothes in a small apartment in New York City, showing funny celebrities eating Tide Pods and surviving. I don't know, but the whole idea is that they are building trust with you. They're making sure that you got your product. They're verifying that you're happy with it. Because chances are, if they're accelerating your use of the product and helping you pull value out of it, you're going to run out of it quicker. You're going to ingrain your brand in their brain, which is the toughest thing to do. So when it's time to buy laundry detergent again, they're going to immediately go back to your website and buy it and possibly subscribe. The whole point is cutting against the grain of what everyone else is doing and adding value to said person's life. If you're clothing, tell them what outfits to wear with it. Show them celebrities wearing it. Give them what it's like to be a customer and what you're all about from a vibe standpoint. Make a good first impression. If I have an at-risk customer, oh man, now I'm going to push you to buy again. And I'm going to push you hard. And I'm going to push you hard for 3 reasons, okay? And let's jump into the tool. If I had a first purchase at-risk customer, status is at risk, I'm going to push you to buy again for 3 reasons. Reason number 1, I've earned the right to push you to buy again. Because when you were inactive, I was building trust and adding value to your life. And you're scratching your head wondering, is this merchant that I just spent hundreds of dollars with ever going to ask me to buy? This is strange. Well, you're damn right I am, but I've been saving it for when you've maximized the probability of you actually wanting me to ask you to buy. The second reason I'm doing this is not for the second purchase. I'm actually pushing you in the respect to buy a 3rd time on your own, right? So I work with a company that sells necklaces. And one of the upsells that she has is links that you can use to extend these necklaces to wear with maybe longer cut dresses. Well, what she does for a first purchase at-risk customer is instead of charging you through the nose or charging you really high for those extra links, she actually will give those links away for free. She'll make you pay for shipping, and she's going to make money off of that shipping. But what she's doing is she's building trust with you. And now when you get those links for free, you haven't ordered once from her with a great experience. You've now ordered twice from her, which is the definition of a habit. And the next time it's time to buy jewelry, guess what? You're most likely subconsciously going to think of her brand first and foremost and give her the benefit of the doubt to have your money as opposed to her competitor. Now, the third reason that we do this is if you do pass into lost, well, that's okay. You are now qualifying your time as a merchant. That is huge. I always use the example of me buying a bikini for my wife for Christmas, right? Well, I don't wear bikinis, guys, so I'm naturally going to pass into a lost customer pretty quick. But now what that bikini company can do is take every dollar and minute that they were originally going to devote to try to get me, a dude that lives 5 hours from the beach, to buy another bikini, and they can focus during the year on getting the women who live on the beach to buy another bikini, and then come back to me in the holiday season because I'm lost and provide me some great deals that I might want to surprise my wife with again in the next year. So that qualification of time or that opportunity cost is probably one of my favorite reasons why Funnel 1 is so important. If you want to dive deeper into here, please go to Glew Academy video 4 And I provide many, many more examples, but for time, we're going to move on. The second funnel is what is called the purchase behavior funnel. So rather than thinking about timing or obsessing about timing, what we're instead going to do is we're going to operate off of the purchase history of the business. And this is going to be a way more in-depth in video 5 in the Glew Academy series called the buying order spectrum analysis. But I'm going to give you the skinny right here. Now, a good way of thinking of this is, in what order do the highest paying customers buy things from me? Right, let's go back to that bikini example. I want to attract women that live on the beach because it's easier to upsell women who live on the beach with bikinis than dudes who live 5 hours from the beach trying to get them to buy another bikini. And it's the same idea. And here are a couple of examples I provide in that video. I work with an outdoors company. It used to really just sell any old camping outdoorsy equipment. But what they discovered was that their highest paying customers bought the carabiner. You know, that really important clip that your life depends on when you're rock climbing. Aha moment for them. Their highest paying customers rock climb. That's profound. And what they were able to do is pivot from just being a diluted, outdoors company to a more specific, specialized merchant servicing rock climbers. And that is much more profitable for them because they now just aren't acquiring thousands of customers who never come back, but they're acquiring the right customer and building trust with that customer who are actually rock climbers. I work with a very large women's clothing company, like a middle-aged clothing company. And what they found is that the women who buy the pants are the ones that spend the most amount of money with them in the long term. Now, their theory is that the pants are more expensive. You also have less pairs of pants. And the pants seem to be the staple that you build all the other accessories and shirts and other outfit items around. How profound to know that if I can get my customers to buy the pants early on in the relationship, that I'm qualifying my time and I'm building myself up for a much more profitable business than trying to, again, spin my wheels pushing jewelry or blouses. If that's not enough for you, I work with a non-perishable food delivery company. What they found is that the people who had the tastes for the San Pellegrino sparkling water and the smoked salmon were the most profitable, highest paying customers for them. So I'm not going to give you can always watch the video later, but for the people who haven't bought from you yet, when I come back in here and I see that I have, in this scenario, however many customers this is, my zero purchase customer base, be a little bit picky. Sacrifice a little bit of your conversion rate and promote products early on that your highest paying customers value. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to go into product list and you're going to rank your products in order of LTV. You're going to get a good idea for what the average LTV is for the people who bought a certain product. And, I'm going to add orders. But again, I carefully walk you through this exercise in the BOSA or buying order spectrum analysis video. But again, what you're looking for are products that have a high amount of orders and whose customers have a relatively high LTV, because these are the products, these are the products that your highest paying customers have the taste for. Now, when I click into some of these product details, the rest is pretty easy. So when I click into the Mac Oxford shoe or the Megan Brown felt hat, what I'm going to get is one source of truth in each product. And when I'm going to tell you that when people buy a product, what percentage of the time are they buying other things? Okay. And this is cool, but we don't stop here. So we take all of this one-to-one basket analysis SKU by SKU and then feed that back into the customer detail, where we're going to take a look at everything that the customer ever bought. And we're going to run all those probabilities and basket analysis for each customer, and then automatically assign the exact set of SKUs that each individual email address should be presented with in order to maximize the probability of each individual personalized email to convert again. And this is also pushed over to the email engine. So what's so exciting is that funnel 2, although the beginning requires a little bit of critical thinking and watching video 5 in the Glew Academy series, pushing these people down the funnel once acquired is nearly automated with our integrations with the ESP. Great. Funnel 3, the strategic funnel. Real cool. So for funnel 3, this is video 2 in the Glew Academy series. We want to let go of cadences for a moment. I want you to let go of mutual exclusivity because this funnel will be used probably like once or twice a quarter and for strategic reasons. And I call these the 2 ends of the conventional bell curve here, okay? Your VIP customers, that's an out-of-the-box segment. So if I come back in here and I come into my VIPs, which is what you're staring at it, ranking customers by the revenue they have generated, these customers are in the top 10% of my base. Now, I can see that in the past year, 37.6% of my annual revenue is coming from the top 10% of my customer base. Guys, there are merchants out there who make hundreds of millions of dollars that will pay up to $75,000 for this one insight, and you now have it automated out of the box in Glew. Because what you're looking for is you want 40% of your annual revenue coming from the top 10% of your customer base. If it's too low, let's say it's like 25%, it's way cheaper to upsell a current customer than to buy a new one. So you need to go back to your VIPs and figure out how you can pull more revenue out of that customer segment. Loyalty programs, I don't know, but make sure that they know that they're VIP. If it's too high, let's say it's 50%, well, you're depending on too few people for too large of a chunk of your revenue. We need to go ahead and acquire more of the quote unquote right customer than worrying about selling into that customer base. Try exporting the CSV file and importing it into Facebook lookalike audiences and allowing Facebook to go hunt down more of the right customer than just any old customer. Huge success story there. So at the end of the day, what I want you to take away from the satellite funnel is they need to know that they're a VIP customer. I should be able to go up to any of your VIP customers as a stranger on the street, tap them on the shoulder and ask them if they're a VIP customer of yours, and they should look back at me clear-eyed and ready to roll. Absolutely, because I bring that merchant new leads consistently. I'm part of a loyalty program. I've spent more money than I'd like to admit with them. That's your angle. The opposite of this is the value shopper. Okay, so the value shopper, clicking around. The value shopper are customers who have always used a discount code when purchasing. The vultures of the business, right? Now, I'm a huge believer in the fact that discounting always is not a good idea, but discounts, just like debt, have a time and a place. Discounts are okay as long as the value that you're getting in return for the discount outweighs the discount itself. Now, you might want to treat these people in a way where, let's say you had overstocked inventory, right? Let's say that you ordered a bunch of new red high heels and they just didn't sell, and you literally have cash tied up in that product. By the way, we have a whole inventory. If you're wondering what products to actually discount, there's a whole nother thing that we can do for you there. But let's say you've already sat through video 7, inventory management opportunity cost in the Glew Academy series, and you've actually identified the set of products that you have to discount because we need to liquidate those and pour that cash into other areas of the business. Well, I'm not just going to promote that discount to anyone. No. I am going to promote that discounted set of products to people who are only buying at a discount. And the reason why I'm doing that is to save the full price products for the full price customer. That is huge. It's really important. And that way, marketing in line with your operations are. Great. Now, for video 4, or excuse me, for slide number 4, oh, I'm so sorry, the funnel number 4, the custom segments are really exciting because when I go back into the system, you can clearly see that I can create all kinds of custom segments around pretty much every data endpoint and calculation that's offered in Glew. Now, a really easy custom segment to think about is something like a 1-year anniversary program. Hey, it's been exactly 1 year since you bought from me. Here's an audio. Maybe it's an automated yet personalized message that goes out to a fresh batch of people every day like clockwork. Well, in that case, I'll say orders are greater than or equal to 1. Maybe the relationship length is equals exactly 365. And then boom, you got that set up, pushed over to MailChimp or Klaviyo or whatever, and you're ready to go. That's oversimplifying how powerful, though, this custom segment module is. So let's go back for a moment into the value shoppers. It's really popular to offer a discount to get a customer to buy for the first time. That's cool. I actually think that's a very effective way to acquire customers and customers to sell into. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to let that customer buy at a discount once, then buy at a discount a second time, and then buy at a discount a third time, right? We don't want to get sucked into that discount trap. We want to get them to buy once, have such a great experience with the product that they are then willing and eager to come back a second time to buy at full price. So how would we segment out your customer base in order to get those first purchase 1 discount customers to buy a second time at full price? Well, funny you ask, because I'm going to go to all customers, create a segment, orders equals 1, discounts equals 1, and now I can concentrate on a very specific sliver of my value shoppers with the intention of getting them to buy a second time at full price. And that is huge. This is where we start getting into much more nuanced, strategic ways of cutting up your base in order to attract the right customer and to upsell them. It's a balance, guys. This spectrum is really important. I mean, if I'm Ralph Lauren, you can argue that we have what? All the time in the world, all the money in the world, billions of dollars, who cares? I'm Ralph Lauren. But if I'm a scrappy entrepreneur trying to make millions in profits for my small to medium-sized business, well, you're going to have to make that judgment call for how willing are you to just blast your entire customer base with generic messages? Don't recommend it. And how much time do you have to get into the nitty-gritty of the personalization? What you're going to find is that in Glew, in the predefined segments, you're going to be right in the sweet spot right here. But we're going to allow you to get as personalized as you can possibly imagine while not buying or investing hundreds of thousands of dollars and hiring all these people to piece together all this stuff on your own. All right, so I'm going to pause there. I would love to field any questions that we might have. And let's do that.
Cool. Yeah, we'll give it a couple of minutes. Don't see any questions in there just yet, other than if we're going to be sending out a recording, because this was a gold mine, which thank you, Miguel. Mark knows his stuff for sure. But yeah, we are going to be sending out a recording along with the slides, probably later this afternoon. And it will also be up on our site at glew.io/webinars. But yeah, we'll hang around for a couple of minutes. If you have a question, just drop it in the chat box or in the Ask a Question module down in the bottom navigation.
I will say this. Thank you, Abby. I will say this. The biggest thing I get questions about is mutual exclusivity. Like, how do I blend these 3 funnels together? And I'll answer that right now. I actually recommend that you start with the never purchased funnel first to attract the women that live on the beach and not dudes that live in Kansas in their mom's basement. You're selling bikinis. Second thing I do is active, which is nurturing them and building trust with the customers that actually bid on that first sale. Then at risk to get them to buy again. Then lost to nurture those that did, past lapse point, and then you can, again, invest back in the cadences for never purchase, active, and at risk. And then the VIP and the value shopper, remember, those are satellite funnels. They're not a part of any specific cadence system. They're floating around in the background. And remember, if I'm a VIP customer, I know I'm in a secret club. So I am expecting that, okay, I have this generic everyday type email that everyone gets, but I'm also willing to accept my VIP treatment because I'm a VIP. How else are you going to communicate that to me? It's a given that not everyone gets that email.
Cool. Last call for questions. I know this is super personalized and super specific to every store too. So if you have questions about your specific store, if you're on Glew, feel free to write them into support. And if you're not on Glew yet, feel free to write us in. Mark and the rest of our sales team is happy to talk about your individual situation and use case as well. Yeah,
and on that, I can't stress it enough. Like, this was like a high level bringing it all together summary. Like, each one of these funnels has another. There's like hours of things we can talk about for each funnel, but this is more of like that high level bringing it all together exercise. All right, guys. Well, drop any questions if you want. We are super excited to work with you. If you don't work with us, and if you're our client, we obviously are more appreciative of that, and we're always here to help.